On today's show, we interview Garrain Jones. Once again, that's Garrain Jones, G-A-R-R-A-I-N, Garrain Jones, on how he went from being a prisoner in a French prison to becoming a multi-million-dollar commercial real estate investor. All this and more on today's edition of the Thrive Time Show on your radio and podcast download.
3, 2, 1, boom! You are now entering the dojo of Mojo and the Thrive Time Show.
Thrive Time Show on the microphone. What is this? Top of the iTunes charts in the category of business. Drilling down on business topics like we are a dentist. Providing you with mentorship like you are an apprentice. And we go so fast that you might get motion sickness. Grab a pen and pad to the lab. Let's get in this. It's time to bear some fruit like some Florida oranges. 3, 2, 1. Here come the business ninjas.
Sonic boom.
Yes, and yes. Mr. Jones is on the phone. How are you, sir?
Yo, I am fabulous. You always have an epic entrance.
Shut it up. You're getting ready to
How are you?
Well, I'm excited because so much has been going on in your life since we talked last. Tell the listeners about your new book. What's the new book? What's it all about? What inspired it?
So it is titled Change Your Mindset, Change Your Life on Amazon right now. Basically, 8 years ago, living in my car, $250,000 in debt. Daughter disowned me, pretty much. My girlfriend left me, and I was at the bottom of the bottom. Decided to change my pattern, my way of thinking. Came across a man and he said, change your mindset, change your life. And from that moment, I had a conscious interrupt. And every single day for the last 8 years, I've been doing the opposite of everything that I would normally do in areas of my life where I wasn't happy, which had me then go to seminars, read books, change the way I eat, change the way that I wake up in the morning. And because of that philosophy, I've staged myself outside of the habitual nature that I grew up. And this life, this amazing quality of life that I'm living, people tend to really like it. And all these hundreds of thousands of followers are like, yo, what is this? What is that? You should write a book. And when you hear thousands and thousands from thousands of people, you should write a book. So my book, Change Your Mindset, Change Your Life, is like a everyday people's guide to understanding the power and the magic that lives inside of you so that you can utilize these tools to potentially produce extraordinary results in your life simply because you have the awareness of what's going on and what could be stopping you and what you could remove from your life so that you can create space to make room for your new next levels of blessings. So it's a really cool, awesome book that I'm really proud of. I put my life into it, and I'm just excited because it's my entire message. Even the way that it's written sounds like you're having a conversation with somebody who has your back.
Your book cover for this book, Change Your Mindset, Change Your Life, is awesome. But it's I think it's as awesome as the room you're in right now. For the people out there that cannot see this room, tell us about the book cover and the room. What's going on in your room? What's going on with the book cover?
So my office, there's people that have just motivated me along the way, and there's certain quotes. I wanted to have a room. They say you're the 5 closest people that you hang around, but it's not necessarily they have to be alive. It's just a constant reminder of you can't be what you can't see. So I'm in a room. If you can imagine the art for the Sex Pistols with the crazy, funky yellows and pinks and things, I'm in a yellow room that has pink names with yellow on the inside. So I have Muhammad Ali, Oprah Winfrey, Albert Einstein, Napoleon Hill, Martin Luther King, Pharrell Williams, Conor McGregor, Obama, Jesus, Mother Teresa, Gandhi, John C. Maxwell, Jim Rohn.
I've got our videographer. I got our videographer filming right now. Can you kind of spin the camera and show us the rest of this room? This is the coolest room in America. I need this room.
I'm surprised he doesn't have a picture of you in there, Clay.
Well,
I mean, that's really shocking.
It'd be too pale.
To think about.
It'd be too pale. It would ruin the whole look.
Well, I mean, that yellow, you're right. It probably wouldn't look. I don't know. Some of those dudes look kind of pasty.
Oh.
It looks like a room after your own heart, Clay.
I love this room.
Oh, yeah.
I would never leave this room. It would be like the scene from The Aviator.
There you go. A little zebra action.
Brings it all together.
There you go.
Did you have this custom made? Did you find? Did you buy this on Fathead.com? What did you do?
So I'm into real estate development, and I just I love transformation anything. This had old grandmother beige walls, and I was just like, man, this is what I want to create. So I handpicked the pictures. I got the quotes that I wanted. I worked with the artist, and I was like, no, yes, no, yes, no, yes. Oh my goodness, that is it. And then once we got to it, then they hired a guy that is known for putting wallpaper on walls. He came out and then he did it, and I was like, yo, I'm literally surrounded by giants in the industry.
That's cool.
That
love this room.
that are making the kind of impact that I want to make in the world.
I love this room. Now, for the listeners out there that aren't super aware of your story, and for Wes Carter, one of our guests on today's show, and for Zach O'Malley Greenberg, the senior editor for Forbes, who's not familiar with your story, can you share, because on our earlier interview, you got into some of the nitty-gritty, but share some of the lowest low points, and then let's get back into your book. Share some of the lowest low points that you have been through.
So, like I was saying, like 8 years ago, I was living in my car for 2.5 years. 10 years prior, I spent 2.5 years. There's this magical 2.5 years. It took me 2.5 years to become a multimillionaire. It's crazy, 2.5 years. But 10 years prior, I served 2.5 years in a French prison for smuggling drugs into another country. And it's so funny because that show, Locked Up Abroad, I actually did the show, and I dreamt that I would be on that show, and it just aired 2 weeks ago. So it's like circulating.
That's a
right
real thing.
now.
You're in that show.
Yeah, to millions of people. So
Locked
yeah.
Up Abroad.
Locked Up Abroad.
Whoa.
And so it's literally to all these people like, yo, you changed your life. But I dreamt while I was in prison that I would be on. Well, they didn't have Locked Up Abroad, but they had Prison Abroad. That I would be on Prison Abroad. Last year, a lady messaged me. She's like, we love your show. We know that you were in prison overseas, and we would love to see if you would like to be a part. I was like, yes, before she could even finish, because it was part of a dream that I had manifested from back then. So, 10 years of just going through this craziness of life and never understanding why the highs were happening, why the lows were happening. And when it was really good, I didn't know how actually the mind worked until I went to my first seminar. And then that's when they were saying, yo, turn off the TV and start reading books. And then I started reading. I read The Power of Positive Thinking over 289 times. And then from the philosophy that I was getting in that book, it was like it was controlling my actions, my energy, how I was treating people. And then I heard a quote that said, successful people are willing to do the things that unsuccessful people won't do. This is while I was living in my car. And then I just started studying successful people. This guy wakes up early, so I'm going to wake up at 5 a.m. This guy reads this book that's successful, so I'm going to read the book. I'm going to go to the seminar.
So how did you go? How did you go from the prison to earning your first $1 million? What did you do? Were you selling? Were you doing door-to-door candy bar sales? Were you doing Amway? Were you doing Cutco knives? What were you doing?
No, so it's a long journey. So I went to prison from 2002 to 2005. I didn't get any kind of break until 2011. So that's me going in and out, in and out, in and out, in and out of just this crazy depression. Even when I was doing music, I was signed to Ludacris. I wasn't happy. I was just doing what everybody else wanted me to do and nothing that I wanted to do deep down on the inside of myself. But it wasn't until I started to get healthy, because everybody in my family was unhealthy. I started to get healthy, and I remember to blanket this whole thing, I was in my car, 3:43 in the morning, August 2011, and I had my moment of surrender, and I cried out. And I said, I want to be healthy. I want to be happy. I want to be surrounded by nothing but positive people. I just want to inspire people. And I want to make a bunch of money, but I want the money to represent something that I passionately believe in, that I would do for free. Just show me a sign. And that, a week later, that's when I met the homeless man that said, change your mindset, change your life. Now, here's how the whole thing happened.
Yep.
everything that I would normally say no to, that's when I just started saying yes, because it was the opposite of everything that I would do. So joining a health and wellness company, really just like selling stuff on Amazon and just saying yes to a bunch of things. I went on, Craigslist, and every single day, what am I good at? What do I love? And I would look for 20 different listings, and I would message 20 different people. What am I good at? What do I love? I was doing singing telegrams. I was washing cars, babysitting, everything I could. My girlfriend goes, do something in health and fitness. You love to help people. My mom, do something in health and fitness. You love to help people.
What did you sell after you started getting healthy? You're listening to your mom. What was the thing you were selling? What did you sell?
So I started selling. There was a company that I was with, and it was a Herbalife product.
Okay.
And I was selling shakes and vitamins and things like that. And I never believed in any kind of multi-level marketing.
Yeah.
What I did believe is when I like something, the world is gonna know it. When I like freaking bacon double cheeseburgers, and when I like gummy bears and things like that,
yeah,
the world was gonna know it. But it was more about my expression of, man, I feel so good. I just want people to feel good with me. And so from there, everything just started growing. So I started with health and wellness. Then I got into personal development, and I was like, yo, I love this. The message of just growing and helping people to grow their minds, mind, body, soul, heart, spirit. I was like, I want to keep going. So then I eventually started doing workshops, speaking on stages, speaking at schools, speaking in Fortune 500 companies, and going them in there and teaching them about how to upgrade their leadership and change the energy environment, and creating different kind of cultures, doing 3-day transformation workshops. And now you see everything that I did had to do with transformation. So now you see why I got into real estate development. Why? Because I can take a house, look at it, and be like, man, this is what it could turn into. And I'm like, man, it's tapping into the same thing that I love when it comes to transformation. So if it has to do with transforming anything, give me any platform, and it's going into the same field, the same amount of income, no matter what I touch, because it's coming from a place is I just want to see people better, live an amazing quality of life. And I put that same energy inside of every single thing that I do, and I would do it for free.
So your new book here, Change Your Mindset, Change Your Life. Chapter 1, it says trust in the process. What is this chapter all about?
So trust the process is one of those things where, you say you have this big dream. I want to retire my mom. What most people do is they get taken out by the things that designed to test them. So I feel like the universe has the only way that it can get your attention is by connecting to what's inside of your heart. So your mom, your girlfriend, your boyfriend, your job, money, because that's the only way to get your attention. Once it has your attention, now it's going to try to stop you from achieving that dream. But the kind of person that can trust the process and actually use it as an emotional trainer to test you and strengthen you and cultivate you along the way, you end up then start developing through the process. And as you continue to take faith with you and trust with you, you keep going, get knocked back down, keep going.
Z, you have been around a lot of eccentric entrepreneur types. I'll throw myself into that.
You're definitely the top of the list, by the way.
There we go. Yeah. But I think when a lot of people hear a guy who's as passionate, sometimes they confuse passion with. It's hard to, because we're in a world where, according to Gallup, 70% of people hate their jobs.
Right.
So can you maybe sift through what we're hearing here? And because I think if somebody's listening going, there's no way that this man is sincerely this passionate about his life. But you see people like this all the time. I perceive this as a good thing, but you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. I perceive it as a great thing. And I think that more people need more passion. I think passion actually sells because people are, they're lacking in themselves. I mean, so many people walk around and their days seem like the same days.
Yeah.
And their life seems like it's the same life. And, what day of the week is it? Does it matter?
And you're a passionate guy. He's a passionate guy.
I know.
What question would you have for the king of passion?
I love that. I love that. I mean, what's next? I mean, that's one of the questions I loved. You wrote your book. I mean, you're obviously on a upward trajectory. I mean, we know nobody has. I mean, hey, you were in prison and now you're on top of the world. I mean,
prison,
a Turkish prison with a Turkish spa. And now you're on upward trajectory. What? And you've said several things that kind of turn things around. And I know. Really, it was an inner drive in you that did that. But if somebody's listening out there right now and they're in the doldrums of life and they need some passion in their life, what would you say to that person right now?
So, and there's actually a chapter in my book called Do What You Love. Let me tell you something. My dad, he was a raging alcoholic. He was murdered when I was 12 years old. No one had anything nice to say about him. But the one memory that I have is when I was 5 years old, all the grown-ups were drunk. Everybody's making fun of me because I was imitating Michael Jackson when MTV was on in front of the whole family. And he was the first person who stuck up for me. And he was like, hey, don't you ever make fun of my son. Garrain, as long as you love it and it makes you happy, then you do it. You do it no matter what. And I never forgot that.
Wow, that's good advice.
And I want people to really pay really close attention to what I'm about to share, because this is one of the main things that's underneath everything that people think is wrong. I'm going to say that again. What I'm about to talk about is what's underneath. It's at the root of what a lot of causes, a lot of wars, a lot of racism, a lot of stuff that's going on. What I'm about to talk about is what's underneath. So, if you can imagine a little kid going up to an adult, to the mom, going, Mom, Mom, Dad, 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 Mom, Dad, and the adult ignoring the kid for 20 years. And I'm asking y'all this question. What do you think the relationship would be like?
Not very good.
Not good at all, like something was missing. Okay, because there will be no trust. I'm a firm believer that what we innately loved as children, and when you look at children, they have endless energy. That our natural state is joy. So that means we'd already come over to we were born into this love and this joy. We already had it like a human USB. Kids tend to follow the pattern of what other people are doing around them. Like, oh, it runs in the family. I'm going to be a lawyer because my dad's a lawyer. And then they leave their dream. Oh, I really wanted to do this, but then everybody else was doing this. So I'm going to follow the pattern. And I'm going to follow the pattern. When I was a little kid, I wanted to be a superhero. I wanted to be stronger than the average man, have abs like an action figure, and save people's lives all over the world. Now, I never left that, but the majority of my friends left their original dream. If a bird would have tried to be an alligator, you could see how life would be difficult. However, if the bird was just operating with what's already inside and utilizing what's already inside to its max, then you could see how flight would actually happen. So now I'm going to wrap this up. Now, there's an inner child inside of every human being. And I feel like every time you honor what you loved as a child, you actually access the most richest part of your heart, which is the most powerful frequency in the world. Most people do things for money and they leave the heart. So that's why life is like so empty. So when you actually do what you loved as a child, I feel like you tap into some kind of higher source that generates and activates a different kind of energy inside of you. Had a conversation with a lady. She was like, I just feel like something is missing. I have money, I have family, I have cars, something is missing. What did you love when you were a child? I love dancing. When was the last time you danced? 20 years ago. Dance every single day for 30 days. She does that. All of a sudden, she was like, I don't know. It's like all these things start happening to my life. I'm happy again. My husband came back. Yeah, because you actually fueled your own passion, not for the money, but just because you made love to you. You fueled you and you fueled that inner child. And the something that was missing is the separation from soul to flesh. And your soul is like your inner child, the richest part of your heart. So when you're operating in things that you actually love, you're utilizing everything that's already inside of you, especially when it was a passion when you were a little kid that nobody had to say, you need to do this. So I would have the conversation with the person. It's like, you're not doing anything that you love. You do this for money. You do this for your wife. You do this because your dad said to do it. So basically you gave birth to something and you tried to raise somebody else's children in a completely different neighborhood, wondering why you have no relationship with the children that you have now. You have a spiritual baby, which is something that's already inside of you that you need to give birth to. If that makes sense. I don't know if this was too woo-woo for some people out there.
It definitely might be too woo-woo.
I'm dancing right now. Tell you
for
what,
somebody out
I'm
there.
not.
But I think somebody needs it. And we have a guy here on the show today who I think is a very not woo-woo. Zach O'Malley Greenberg. If you look him up, he's a senior editor at Forbes. Zach, have you always loved writing? Is this something you've always been into? Is this something that is it a chore to you to write? Do you love to write?
I've always loved writing as long as I can remember, but up until I became an adult, I was trying not to do it professionally.
Really? And then did it just kind of kill your soul? Do you find yourself wanting to write?
Well, both my parents are writers, and so I kind of went into it thinking, like, I'm going to do anything other than what they are doing for a number of reasons. One, I wanted to be original, and two, I saw the ups and downs that a writing career, really a lot of creative careers can have.
Creative careers definitely up and down.
So I said, let me go find something different. But whatever I did, I kept coming back to the writing. And lo and behold, when I was in college, the old saying goes, you got to be lucky and good. And the lucky part was seeing a letter from Forbes on the wall of my college newspaper saying, hey, everybody, we're looking for interns. And I applied and I got the job, and I've been there ever since. It's been over a decade.
When you sit down with somebody like Justin Bieber and interview them, or somebody like Kanye West, do a lot of the most successful people have this kind of passion? Do you hear this a lot? Do you? I feel like when I'm listening to Garrain talk, it's like watching Dave Letterman interview Kanye West.
Define it for me. What is the mechanism that is malfunctioning or is taking a break in your brain? Do you know?
I wouldn't be able to explain that as much, just because I'm not a doctor. I can just tell you what I'm feeling at the time. And I feel a heightened connection with the universe when I'm ramping up.
There's like a certain passion there to it, Do you find that to be common with a lot of the celebrity, big-time successful people that you've interviewed there, Zach?
Yeah, you've got to have that type of passion about your work. Otherwise, you're going to get washed away. There are plenty of people who are passionate about what they do, just yearning for that, that chance to take the place of whoever doesn't care enough. So, yeah, I think people can tell when you don't have that passion. People can tell when you're not really giving it your everything. Right. I think for me personally, that was one of the things that led me back to writing. It was like whatever I end up doing, I'll be writing, which I enjoy. So wherever that takes me, at least, it's not necessarily about the end, although the end of a good end would be nice, but also the means are enjoyable too.
Right.
It's like what we're talking about before, the idea of like, what do you love to do? Dance. Well, when was the last time you danced? 20 years ago. Dance every day of your life. That's what you love to do. You're going to be happy. So, I definitely identify with some of those sentiments myself.
Wes, we have Garrain. We have Wes Carter on the show. He's an attorney of choice for some of the biggest names in the evangelism space. Pastor Craig Rochelle, Pastor Joyce Meyer. His firm has worked with just huge names in that space. T.D. Jakes. And Wes, I'm passionate about dancing with you, but since the restraining order, I can't.
That's right. It's still in effect.
What questions would you have for Garrain here?
Well, I'm curious, what do you think, I think there's a lot of truth to that, if you're not happy, you project that in a multitude of ways out, that unhappiness, that bitterness, if you can't feel joy yourself. What do you think is something that keeps people from doing that? So, is it just not realization of what's actually going to bring them joy, or is there some other barrier you see there that's stopping them from doing something they love?
That's a really good question. I always talk about barriers all the time. It's called the invisible wall of fear. And a lot of it derives from childhood, just like that childhood domestication. It's like when you learn that one language, like ABCs, and then that turns into, sentences, that turns into paragraphs, and you just keep evolving on the basics, and it just keeps evolving. Your first introduction to fear is don't talk to that stranger. Don't go outside. You could get killed, or you can, and everything that you start to hear in society is based around fear. Well, if you have a little dog that gets into the neighbor's yard and then it like poops in the neighbor's yard, and then the neighbor goes, your dog does that again, I'm going to call the puppy pound or whatever. Then the owner puts this little shock collar around its neck. So every time that dog tries to go across the beaten path, boom, pain. And so it associates with every time I go past here, fear, pain, all these different things. And it tells itself something. Well, after a while, when the dog owner removes the shock collar and there's no wall, it's already built into its mind that I'm not going to take a risk, because every single time I take a risk, fear, pain. So that wall tends to be so thick, like a concrete mental wall in your mind. It tends to be so thick that it will lead and compound over the years. So by the time you're 30, that same little child that was afraid of everything now has an issue with talking to women, now has an issue with talking to men, now has an issue with being in a room full of multimillionaires and having a $1 billion idea and approaching this investor because of the 5-year-old brain inside saying, oh, I can't do it. I can't. And here's the worst part. Most people are not aware, and you can't change what you're not aware. So even in my book, it's all about just giving people awareness, so at least they know what they're saying no to. Most people don't know what they're saying no to because it's a little 5-year-old internally saying no, 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 based off of fear. So it's about, I would have an awareness conversation so they know the capacity of what they're saying no to, or what they're afraid of, or what they're risking. And then saying, well, if you push past that, you'll actually strengthen your willpower. If you push past that, you'll lower your cortisol levels. If you push past that, you'll learn how to develop the muscle of focus, because it's all inside of that wall that you don't want to go past. And once you go past that, that's where the door to more is.
I've got one final question for you. If I'm out there right now and I am adverse to reading books that could help me because I love watching Netflix. If I'm opposed to buying books, I'm stuck in a habit, Z, where I'm stuck in a habit of not buying things that can help me become better, and I'm stuck binge watching Netflix. If I'm hearing this show, and part of me, the good me, wants to buy the book, but the bad me goes, how am I going to afford the regrettable burrito?
How can you do that?
I'm wanting to buy the book, but at the same time, part of me says I don't want to buy the book.
Starbucks 6 times a bar. How am I
Garrain,
going to do that?
give us the hot pitch. Why should everybody check out your newest book, Change Your Mindset, Change Your Life? Why should everybody buy that thing on Amazon right now?
If there's something you've been asking for and it seems like you just keep hitting a wall and keep hitting a wall and keep hitting a wall, if you always do what you've always done, you're always going to keep getting the same thing. And there's no amount of research that you do, if you're just taking in the knowledge and not taking on the action, that's going to change. So no matter what I say, I can sell all day long. At the end of the day, it's going to have to be you that wants something different for their life. My big pitch is, if there was a completely different life on the other side of everything that you think that you know, that is a more not more is better, but better is better. But just an incredible life, worth living, a life without regrets, understanding what stops you. Would you open that door? If you wouldn't open that door, I would not encourage you to read the book because you're not even ready. Like, I wouldn't encourage you to freaking go and take this test when you're not even ready to come to class. However, for those who are seeking and you actually want to know more about your life, this is an everyday people's guide to understanding. And maybe those last 10 books that you read they didn't explain it in a way that you resonated with. But I passionately believe my story will grab you in a way where you can listen to the same kind of content. Because I'm not talking about anything new. I'm just sharing it from the way in which I choose to see the world because of how I grew up and my lens and the way I view the world, in a way where a lot of people truly, truly, truly say, you know what, I feel like I got a friend and I don't feel like I'm alone when I'm reading your content. And if that's something that you need in your life, I encourage each and every person to not only go and buy the book for yourself, go get it for a friend, because you know what's going on in the world right now. It seems like people need some kind of direction and some kind of guidance. And I don't believe that people are stupid or they don't have what it takes. I believe people simply need direction and some kind of target or some kind of example to look towards or through. And I think that I passionately believe that my book is an opportunity to see more of yourself inside of my own personal experiences and philosophies.
Brother, I appreciate you so much for taking the time to decorate your room. That room is an incredible room. I love that room. Thank you for taking the time to write the book. Thank you for taking the time to make that book cover. That book cover is hot, my friend. I really appreciate you for being on the show, and I know it's been a blessing for all the listeners. Are you taking us into another room now? Are you showing us another room?
Look, if you look right there, it says "You are powerful" on the wall.
Oh.
And everything. It's crazy. And I have another room.
Is that where my picture's going to go? Garrain, is that probably where my picture's going to go there?
Right there.
Oh,
right there.
Wow, look at that.
Yeah, I love it.
There's affirmations all over the wall. By the way, I loved pandas when I was a little kid, so I surround myself with pandas.
And you're married?
Yes, I'm married.
Your wife lets you do this? Is she aware of this? Has she seen these rooms?
Absolutely. We operate on the same frequency.
Really? This is awesome. Now, where's home for you? What city do you live in?
I live in Studio City, California.
Okay, this is just awesome, brother. I appreciate you so much for taking the time to share this with us.
And the tour. The tour
is great.
I mean, the tour.
We don't get a lot of tours.
We don't get a lot of
tours.
tours.
This is the only tour we've ever had.
Thrive Cribs.
It is.
We need a tour from Zach O'Malley. At
Cribs
some
on
point.
Thrive.
Forbes tour. That's what we need, right?
Thriving Cribs.
Unbelievable. Again, thank you so much for being on the show, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.
Thank you so much. And again, I said this last time. Thank you for people like you and all the other guests on there. You guys create platforms for people that stories like mine, I never thought I mattered. And because of you, like, the story will have wings and reach, even if it's that one person that says me too. So thank you for that.
You're awesome, man.
You bet.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Take care.
Keep rocking. Well done.
All right, see you later.
And now, without any further ado, 3, 2, 1, boom! Stop what you're doing and think about this for a second. What would happen if your company was suddenly able to generate exponentially more quality sales leads? That would be incredible. What would happen if your company came up at the top or near the top of the Google search engine results? Well, I would just feel overwhelmed with all that business. How many thousands of dollars in lost sales or millions of dollars in lost sales are you missing out on simply because your potential customers can't find you when they go online to search for the products and services that you offer? I refuse to think that thought because I don't want any more business. Unless you are a dirty communist that hates money, my new book, Search Engine Domination, will help you grow your business. In my new book, Search Engine Domination, we will teach you the specific steps that you need to take to dominate the search engine results. What do you mean by dominate? You see, in my new book, Search Engine Domination, we will teach you the specific steps that you need to take to dominate search engine results. Download your free ebook copy today at thebestseobook.com. I repeat, that's thebestseobook.com.
My name is Amy Baltimore, and I am a CPA in Covington, Tennessee. I've been working with the Thrive team now for about a year. One of the first things that they did was to update my website and my search engine optimization. I prior had a website, but I was not being found on Google, and all of my new business was coming through referrals from friends, family, etc. And right away, I started to see results. People were calling and coming in saying that they found me on Google. They just Googled CPA near me, and there I was at the top of the page. And so it's been a great help to my business.
Again, you can download your free ebook copy today at thebestseobook.com.
Hey, this is Dustin Huff. I'm with Keystone Harbor Marina. We joined Thrive back in January and have been working with these guys for about 7 months. During that time period, we have moved up our Google rank through reviews and SEO processes that we've compiled through these guys. Our leads have gone from about 4 a week to now 165 a week. So the process works. I will tell you from experience, once you begin, you have to stay with it. As long as you continually do this week in and week out, month in and month out, you'll continually grow.
The system works, but nothing works unless you do. You've got to take some action. Download the ebook for free today at thebestseobook.com.
Hello, my name is Daniel with Daniel's Heating and Air here in Amarillo, Texas. The way Google has affected my business, we have got a lot of calls from Google. Right now it's July, and we've had the best month ever. And it took us about 8 to 10 months to get on top of Google, and I'm glad we did.
Remember, nothing works unless you do. You have to go to thebestseobook.com today. Download the ebook for free. Just download that ebook for free, and you'll be off to the races.
Hi, my name is Christina Nemus. I'm the owner and operator of Angel's Touch Auto Body and Detailing in Bourne, Massachusetts. We have been working with Thrive and their coaching for, say, 8 to 9 months, and it took us about 6 months, 5 to 6 months to get on the top of Google, and with their help with the website and marketing, and the SEO and retargeting ads with Google, and it has been phenomenal. We just have light and day business coming in, phone calls coming in, walk-ins, referrals. It's just through the roof, and we couldn't be happier. At the moment, we are up 50% this year from the previous year, and not only is that part of our own hard work and diligence, but also with the help of Thrive and what they've done for us and getting us on the top of Google and, you know, all their knowledge and coaching. And yeah, so super grateful, super pumped to see what the future holds for all of us. Thank you.
This is your year to thrive. Success you will find. Today is your day, and now is your time.
Lazy hands make for poverty, but diligent hands bring wealth. Proverbs 10:4. I'm here to tell you, you can do it if you can just motivate yourself. 12 the masses had to cut off a few, so on the daily you and I could rendezvous. A misshapen tree that I had to prune. I had to make cuts to be here daily at noon. So like a tidal wave of knowledge monsoon, I could rain on the parades of those who doubt in you. Are you the next Rockefeller or the next guru, or the next Dr. King who's changing the rules? Walls are in your way, will you run right through? Like a running back, forth the one, it's up to you. I remember my days back in the dorm room, tuned to the gloom like the temple of doom. Overwhelmed with the doubts that try to consume my hope for the future that I could pursue. But from the mountaintop now I can conclude that you have what it takes if you want the view to.
This is your year to thrive. Success you will find. Today is your day, and now is your time. It's your year to thrive. Success you will find. Today is your day, and now is your time.
This moment is profound, cause you're above the ground. Your road might have been rough, but what you got now is now. We're here to pick you up and to even show you how. But you gotta be resourceful with that old plow. Started from the bottom, but I worked my way up. Cause by 4 a.m. I always been prayed up. Rise and grind as your time, don't dare let up. You gotta get it, don't quit it till your seeds grow up.
This is your year to thrive.
Come on.
Success you will find.
Yes.
Today is your day.
Somebody say.
And now is your time.
It's your time.
It's your year to thrive.
Come on.
Success you will find. Today is your day. And now is your time.
It's your time. We all have a wish and we all want to win, but we cannot begin without self-discipline. If you fall on your face, get yourself up again. Attach yourself to goals, not fail with the friends. When the storms get rough and they scatter and leave, you only be there with yourself and what you believe. We believe in you, but not as much as God does. If you're going through hell, He's got nothing but love. Apply what you learn, increase what you earn, and in due time you have money to burn.
Apply what you've learned, increase what you've earned, and in due time you got money to burn.
Sing it.
Apply what you've learned, increase what you've earned, in due time you got money to burn.
Sing it.
Apply what you've learned,
Sing it.
increase what you've earned.
Yes.
In due time you got money to burn.
With this miracle, I look to shout down the doubters, kill the weeds that be killing your dream flowers, empower you to devour all the obstacles that make your sweet dreams sour. As for me, I used to stutter, but now I'm on the microphone smooth like butter. If I can do it, I know you can too, but you must stick to it like postage do. And while Merton's on the chorus, singing what he sings, I encourage you to dream big dreams.
Today is your day.
Today's your day.
And now is your time.
It's your time.
This is your year to thrive.
Sing it.
Success you will find. Today is your day.
It's your day.
And now is your time.
It's your time.
Today is your day.
Come on.
And now is your time.
Sing it, Martin.
Today is your day. Now is your time.
I realize I can't sing like that, but I can talk and play the woodblock. Okay. If you guys need me, I'll just be over here.